We all know why we're here. So let me ask you a question then. Why the big secret? Truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, break it down, now can you peep it? They're deceiving all the people. Let me ask you, what's the secret? Misinformation and lies, a devious disguise. They want the EMF blast until our brains is fried. Oh, point their beams in the sky. Oh, it's a movie now. This world is all CGI. Their plot is truly foul, but we're here to rise up and bring the real. Time is now, truth seekers. Y'all know how I feel. Truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, why the big secret?
All right, now let's get ready to hit this thing on Truth Seekers. It is Tuesday night, and I want to welcome each and every one of you to Forbidden Knowledge TV. I'm your host, Roderick Martin, and do we have a treat for you here tonight? And all I can say right now is this. I want to bid you good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the 24 time zones that this show airs. And we got a big promise here in Texas. And that is always. Why? Because, you know, I live in that jumbo state. This is where those UFOs come out to play. It's a Texas thing, y'all. But I'm surrounded by a lot of people tonight, and we're going to get down to it. So we're going to be the boldest, baffling, belligerent YouTube channel in the world, creating captivating conversations that'll certainly cause controversy. Join me tonight in this group, because we're going to talk about it. I hope you're ready. Get the children, put them to bed, because you know why? It is dinner time, and if you have not, you can fix some butter, some biscuits, some bacon, whatever you want to do. We're going to do it, and that's a Texas recipe. I'm going to shut the music down so we can get down into our conversation, and it's going to be a good one. So you better share the video right now, get some people in it, because we're going to talk about some things and some heck of perspectives and we're going to do that. So anyway, I'm ready. I hope y'all ready. So let me turn it down and get right into it. I got my panel up here today of my friends. And we got Mr. Daryl Nichols up here as well. We got Linda here as well. Zoe's here as well. Nicole, y'all know Nicole, part of the Truth Seekers crew and the street team, as you can see the shirt I have here. And then we got Uncle Jeff in the middle. And so we're going to go over some things. If each one of y'all want to say hello to the crowd tonight, go ahead and do that. And that'll be a good time.
Hey, quick shout out to all the Truth Seekers. It's good to be back on to the show. Thank you very much, Roderick. And wonderful to meet the other panels up here. Zoe, Uncle Jeff, and Nicole. We talked a little while ago. And Linda, hello.
All right.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to have an opportunity to be together with you all tonight. Of course, I watch the channel all the time, and imagining having this opportunity, this is amazing for me. I'm saying hello from southwestern Pennsylvania, right in the corner by West Virginia and Ohio.
Okay, I guess I'll go then. Hey everybody, Jeff, I'm really honored to be in this panel of fine minds with so much just social and mental brain droppings all over social media. Is good to get into conversations with really smart people that really start in one place and end in another. So I'm happy I'm here, and I'm thankful to have been invited.
And I would also like to say that it is a blessing, and it is an honor to meet everybody on this panel and to be included in the conversation. My name is Zoe, spelled XO. That's the Japanese variant of it. I'm a bit of a multimedia maven, truth seeker, and studier of all forms of forbidden wisdom, no matter how deep, dark, or weird and twisted that it gets. I'm a lover of all things sci-fi and occult. And, like I said, I'm proud that Roderick decided to include me in on this conversation. So peace and blessings to everyone. May this knowledge, wisdom, and education uplift the soul.
All right. And Nicole, you already win, right? No?
No.
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick. Hey, everybody. What's up, Truth Seekers? What's up, Forbidden Knowledge crew? Hey to all the panelists tonight. I'm excited to jump into the topic. I'm excited to be here, as always, to discuss my favorite topics in the ufology world. So let's get started.
All right. Well, we're going to do that. So basically, while we're here, everyone that's watching, there was a interview that was done several days ago by a Dr. Garry Nolan. You'll get an opportunity when you get a chance to go ahead and look him up. But I'll just tell you, he is from Stanford. Okay. And he's a doctor. He's been working around this UFO thing for quite some time. And one of the things about that is when it comes to somebody knowing what is happening out there, especially with the big secret keepers, the government, and all the things that's going on, there's nothing better than this man who we're going to show a few video clips. We're going to talk about some of this stuff. But most important is how this connects to your personal life and what we will be doing and how we conduct our everyday lives. And it's important because this particular interview is so much different than all the things that he's done and he's talked about, but it's got a little more implications in life where we are and where you are today. And that's what's most important, because now the validation is here that UFOs are real. The validation is here that the aliens are here. The validation is here that the government is now taking it more serious. The problem is, are you taking it serious? Is the public taking it serious? Are people thinking about this in real time and the implications in your personal life and where we're going, especially with the introduction of AI? You got the introduction of all these other things. And so therefore, we're going to truly talk about that pretty much. And so what I'm going to do is start playing a few clips, and then we're all going to talk about it. We're going to talk about in some humorous ways. We're going to talk about it in whatever way comes to mind, but also I will then include a few of you in the chat later on. And so if you definitely start posting some of your questions, we'll get into it as well. In the meantime, this is going to be a good one. So I need you all to share this video, hit the like button, all those things so the algorithms can click in and we can get our crew in, because we're going to have a lot of latecomers. As you know, as always, people start creeping in as the show continues. And so we're going to do that. So I'm going to get right started right now. And I'm going to show the first clip. And basically, it's just a setup for our conversation. And it's just real quick. Now, Dr. Nolan was being interviewed. Now, once again, this guy is in the know. When he knows what's going on. He's worked with the government. His background is he was called in a few years ago to analyze the brains of the different service people that have reported being encounters with UFOs. And he came back. Remember, he was saying that there are some out there with brain damage and all these different stuff from encounters with UFOs, which at that time was still kept a secret. So let's start with his clip, and then you all have watched it, and so
I'm curious, do you believe that extraterrestrial intelligence has visited planet Earth?
I think you can go a step further. It hasn't just visited, it's been here a long time, and it's still here. And it has basically, people talk about the wow signal, looking for extraterrestrial intelligence. The wow signal is that people see it on an almost regular basis. That's the communication that's already here.
Now, to give the audience a background, the wow signal is something that's an undercurrent that's been going. There was actually a conspiracy of a true wow signal that happened a long time ago. But really, it's like they're all trying to say, we're looking for the big thing. We're looking for that thing when they're just going to step out and say, hi, I'm Roderick from Planet Zeron. And that's usually where most people think that they want to believe that extraterrestrial. They just got to see it for themselves. What do y'all think? And I can go around the room if we need to what do you all think when it comes down to your thoughts of what he said? They're here. And so let's get into that right now. Let me see. We got some background noise or something, closets or something going on. Let me see here. Okay, there we go. All right, so start with you. Any one of y'all. Let's start with you, Nicole. What do you think now that we say they're here?
I think, just like Dr. Nolan said, that not only are they here, they've been here. So, I mean, they've been here, whether we are aware of it, unaware of it, whether we acknowledge the fact that they're here or not. There's going to be a portion of people that are just going to go on life, just doing their day in and day out, just like they normally would. But I think it's going to really open up a lot of minds to think really on deeper levels. When you're talking about these beings being here, you're going to have a portion of people that might be terrified. You're going to have a portion of people that, are validated for their personal experiences. And you're going to have a portion of people that just don't care. They're going to go on. They're going to go on, about their life unless something drastic occurs because of an announcement, like a great, big disclosure announcement. They're just going to go on with their normal day to day.
All right, since we got a lot of y'all, just we'll get all your answers pretty tight and quick. Not that Nicole took a long time to answer that, but that's my girl. But that's okay. All right, Daryl, you up real quick, and then let's just get into this thing because we got to hit this thing hard. We got a little over an hour. Oh, your mic is muted. Let me unmute that for you then. Okay, yeah. There you go.
Thank you. I'd say to the prudent mind, you really can't dismiss that statement. And it's a very, very powerful statement. And I know we're going to get deeper into it, but you look at the credibility, the credentials that this man brings to the table, his background, and the fact that, a lot of these Ivy League schools do a lot of work for the government and quote unquote black projects. It's a very, very bold statement indeed. And for him to say he is 100% sure. And I think to Nicole's point, It's going to resonate with a lot of people that are already in this space and other people who are maybe sitting on the fence. We'll take the time and do some due diligence. And then we got the other ones I refer to as the Rip Van Winkles. They're just going to stay asleep under the tree.
Well, I mean, and then I'm gonna get to the rest of y'all real quick. I don't want y'all to hold y'all being a little too correct already. I can see y'all skating. You know that this is a problem for some of these people out here. Let's open this thing up. Bring your humor. Bring what you got. I know you're out here. We got about 500 or 600 people here right now. That's okay. It'll probably get a little more. But just pretend it's just us. Just us.
Character here. All right.
Yeah. Flip the hat.
The intrigue.
Well, was trying to say.
So now this guy is saying, and this guy to all people knows that he and as we show more of his clips, everyone, he knows the truth. He knows what's going on from the government, the religious side. He's going to get to later. So y'all stick around. We're going to talk about the religious too. And he knows it all. So this dude is saying and going on the record and saying they are here. So Linda, let's go with you right quick. Then we'll give to Uncle Jeff.
For him to make himself vulnerable, to come out in public, all over all media and say they are here, they have been here. Number one, being a wife of somebody military, retired, this man knows that he can finally say it.
You made a great point, because now we got, and he's going to talk about that. We got all these new laws in place, all these things. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if our community or everybody, and I'll get into that later. I don't think everybody around is ready for what is about to happen.
Not at all. Not at all.
Mm-mm.
Uncle Jeff.
If you don't mind, in all fairness, for others in the listening that hadn't had a chance to review the article or do any research on this, on Dr. Nolan, I mean, he is not a Johnny-come-lately. I mean, a Stanford University professor at a prestigious university. He's got over 60 patents, or 40 patents, I think. And so he's prolific in that regard. He's highly respected. So why would a guy with that much to lose come out and say something on the whim and risk his reputation, his credibility? From an Ivy League college, somebody
and he's part of the mainstream of all this. So, Jeff, what are your thoughts? You've been holding over there. Oh, wait a minute, we gotta unmute your mic. Hang on a second there. Hang on. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I think that this is. I'm having a hard time making a big deal of it.
Okay, why?
Because we all know that with regard to the release of information and the use of technology, that we are all 5 to 15 years behind what everybody knows.
And when you say we all, as in people, or
as in the general public, the general
okay.
By the time you get a device, the government is 15 years ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
We've known this. I don't need validation from the goobers. I don't need the goobers to get it. I don't need the government to tell me. I don't trust them anyway. These are the people that brought us the 4 food groups, right? Yeah, these are the people who put the poison in the water, right?
Okay.
These are the people who have destroyed the oceans. It's the same people. So there just seems to be this come to Jesus moment that everybody wants. Well, for the government to go, oh, I guess you caught us. I don't need that. I don't trust you people. I never have. If you think about the dude in Independence Day. Think about Randy Quaid's character. Remember he was crazy.
Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, dude in the trailer.
All of a sudden, the term conspiracy theorist has more credibility than professional, because everything the conspiracy theorists have been saying has been coming to fruition. So I'm not stuck over there. I don't get why anyone is.
Well, I mean, my thing is, though, all right, yeah, we have this period of time where you were considered cuckoo, crazy, all of that, talking about UFOs. A lot of people are watching right now that, you know, if you talk about some of this stuff to your family members, they think you're crazy. They talk about you. Now we got a lot of validation. It is now happening. And we're going to go through some more of this in the show, where everybody who's watching, if you got a job and you pay taxes, you're in on it now. Every day you go to work, Every single day you go to work, you're paying for this UFO thing that's cuckoo because it is now out there. So I'm going to play the next clip where he goes into a little more about how this thing is and why he feels that it's 100%.
If you had to assign a probability to that statement that you believe extraterrestrial intelligence has visited this planet, what probability would you assign?
100%. And that's not just my opinion. I mean, look, the National Defense Appropriation Act, passed last year, signed by Biden in December. 30 pages of that is the establishment of an unidentified aerial phenomenon office, the establishment of looking into the harm that's happened to an even number of the individuals, going back to 1945 and looking at the disinformation and misinformation that has been basically articulated over the decades. 12 US senators have signed on to a document that basically says we want the information. The establishment of an office, AARO, in the Department of Defense has 25 people working in it right now. And what's their goal? Collecting the information across all of the U.S. Department of Defense intelligence offices, and collation of that into a uniform format for the very first time, and provision of that then to Congress, the creation of a whistleblowers program specifically that allows people from within, I'm going to say this, who've been working on the reverse engineering programs, reverse engineering of objects, so that they can come in and break their oaths, but it's specifically just to talk to Congress and give that information in classified settings. And that the most recent one that happened was just last weekend, and it created quite a hornet's nest in Washington.
Right, so there we go. To answer the question, everyone, yes, we are live. We're live on YouTube. We have almost 700 people in here watching us right now on the Forbidden Knowledge channel. So we are live. Here's the deal. Let's get deep with that, what he's saying. And the only reason I said I played that particular clip is because he's talking about the government programs. Let's get down into the hood of this thing. Let's get into our communities. What do you think now if you walked up to some person in our communities? Let's just start there first, because we can talk about everybody's included in the conversation. But just on the ground level, we walked out there and say, hey, we walk into Popeye's Chicken and say, hey, this job, you're paying for the UFO stuff. What reaction are we going to get now that they're trying to make this mainstream? But I don't think it's breaking. I don't think it's getting down into the church or the cultures down on the street level.
No, not at all. I mean,
it's not supposed to.
Okay.
It's not supposed to. Okay. Bad news, dear Black people. Everybody ain't gonna make it. Okay. Now, can we get past that? Everybody ain't gonna make it. That's the poor you'll have with you always, but it don't name them. I am so over. Now is not the time to educate. Okay. Now is about a time of divide. Now the society has become binary. You take the zombie juice or you don't. You believe or you don't.
The Kool-Aid, right? We're talking about the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. You take the with regard to religion of any type. It's up. It's up. My grandmother used to say this. I think I shared this with you. When I was little, the Scientologists came through the hood in Chicago, and they came to our door. And when they started up, my grandmama said, y'all the ones talk about spaceships, right? He said, yes, ma'am. She said, can you tell me which one of them spaceships Jesus is driving? He didn't have nothing to say. She said, get the hell off my porch. Now, in the reverse, I say this to Black Christians specifically, to the Hoda de Boko Shah crowd. Could you please tell me which one of these spaceships Jesus is driving?
Well, all right. Well, go ahead, Zoe. You got a little something over there. I'm listening.
Yeah, man. I was just getting ready to say that, at this point, one of the things that I often tell my friends is, we live in a global asylum. Everybody on this planet, no matter what religion, creed, or color, is touched by a little bit of crazy. And because of how our governments have twisted and confounded information, and now they're combining misinformation with real facts, people have gone so far out of the path of logic, wisdom, and understanding that it would literally be too late before they would believe that, potentially Mrs. Edison next door is from planet, Zeta Reticuli, and, I know myself, I've had experiences with what I thought were, otherworldly entities, aliens, interdimensional beings, whatever you want to call them. I believe they've been here for a while. I believe that when they come in contact with certain etheric states that, their disguises can be seen through, and I just believe firmly that people will probably have to look up and start trying to figure things out when people start disappearing, when they start entering those underground bunkers, when they say, the quote unquote mothership finally reveals itself. I don't think we're ready for it on any level. And, certain things that have happened over the last 2 years have painfully showed us that.
Well, I get you. I get what you're saying. Daryl, you were a former bishop, or a bishop that was overseed 5 churches. You were in the clergy. You found out the truth a little bit. That's one thing, but can the public handle it if we go out if we all walked out today, and just in a crowd as the Truth Seeker Street team, and we just want to let everybody know, dude, UFO taxes is the new hashtag. You are paying for this UFO crazy thing. What kind of response would the public do if they really know? And that's the first thing, is where the money going. So everybody's in on it, even if it's true not, but now we know the facts are true, but we're paying for it, and people still think it's crazy, but they're paying for it. Now we got a government office. You can physically go knock on the door of a UFO office and say, hey, I need to know what's going on. So from a church standpoint, we got tithes. They're paying tithes now. They're paying money to the UFO program. Daryl, go ahead. I'm just throwing it out there.
I think if we're going to look at the church community, regardless of the denomination or the faith, we're all citizens and we're human beings first. So if you can knock out that separation and that division that was planted there, that kind of puts us in those pockets, and you can elevate yourself just to reality as a human being, that you're living in a country where you're paying taxes. You got 12 senators that are asking people to come in and in secret, behind closed doors, to break their oath of office, whistleblowers, to tell these senators what we're knowing, and we're paying those senators. No senators have states that they represent.
Right.
People who are voting for those senators should be interested in what that senator is thinking and what they know and what's being said behind closed doors. That's classified information. That's a human condition. That's a human being thing. You should be able to get out of your spiritual, religious rigor and say, okay, this is just what's happening. I call it wake up, brother Whit Van Winkle. You just can't stay asleep up under that tree. And some people do if they want to stay stuck in cognitive dissonance. There's a population of a portion of people that's probably just going to be stuck there. And there's probably nothing you can do that you wake them out of it. I've given an analogy before. It's, in the military and during survival training, we would take us out in the field and they would give us some vegetables and a live chicken, and you had to kill the chicken to eat it. But the way they trained us to kill that chicken was you just put that chicken on the ground and you just take his eye, you just draw a line in the dirt straight away from that chicken's eye, and you can let it go of that chicken. Then that chicken will just stand there and just watch that line. They're hypnotized. They won't watch that. They'll just stay there, and you put a stick over his head and you pull it apart. And people behave like those chicken. I call them chicken heads. And there's some people that are just stuck there, but to the extent that we can wake people up, because we are humanity, like Dr. King once said, we go up together as brothers and sisters, or we perish together as fools. And I'm all about reach one and teach one, and wake up when you can. You can't work with them all, perhaps. And, and for a lot of the work, it's about work with those who you can, but we still always, like if it was my family member, I'm going to do my best to try and, I want them to be on side of just realistic and surviving and being aware, and, not having somebody come along and put a stick over the head and pull them because they've been hypnotized.
All right. So that's fair enough. And, Linda, you being a psychologist and knowing how mental health affects some things. And like I said, we'll touch on religion because he talks about the Vatican. We'll do that on the second half of the show because I think that's going to be where we're going to really hit home. What do you foresee, though, even now when people can't believe one thing? And all right, we know we got a lot of people struggling financially, got all of this stuff happening. And all of a sudden you got to realize that some of your money, your hard money, is now going to a UFO stuff too. So they just taking a little more. It looked like we got Zero in the room. If he can hear us, I don't know. Looks like he's in the room. But anyway, so what are your thoughts, Linda?
Number one thought that comes to me is the programming that was intentionally done through Hollywood.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right.
Programming.
Okay.
As a mental health professional, what people say, what people see, what people do repeatedly is what creates a pathway in the brain. Hollywood has been instrumental in programming people so that waiting for the reveal. For me to go to downtown Pittsburgh, let me go to Wilkinsburg and just walk on the street and say, hey, bro, you know what? You're paying taxes for a UFO office. The programming, if brother so-and-so has been in church, he's going to say, no, that's a mistake. Now, I saw that movie, and that movie said, but no, you're wrong. Programming. That is one of the things that we will have to deal with as people are moved into waking up.
Yeah, and I know you got some military background. Your husband been in the military, and he knows some secrets. But of course, you can't tell your family. You have to take them with you. But you made a great point because everybody knows that Hollywood is attached to the big secret keepers, and that some of these things they deliberately make these movies to get to a point. If we were to find out about something, they can say, "Oh yeah, you saw that in the movie. It ain't true. What are y'all talking about?" Like Stargate and all of these other things, because these stories are leaked out. So even when we talk about, and I'm not going to get off track, but because I'm going to do a show on Hollow Earth and all of this, and it's right there. They just did the last King Kong Godzilla movie, and he went to Hollow. They came from Hollow Earth, but people don't see that. They see a good movie, King Kong fighting, but they don't see. Yeah, we see what happened, how they're doing it, but we don't ask why did they put these scenes in there. So go ahead, Jeff.
And I don't mean to be the wet blanket here.
All right, well, you can dry yourself up.
I
Go get him, Jeff.
I have a very firm, I do not argue with adults who can read policy.
Okay. It's funny. You know what? Let me say something. You just said something. I don't argue with adults that can read policy. That was one of the things, and just hold your thought real quick because we just having an open dialogue. So because I'll get hit in the chat in a minute. Let him talk. He's gonna talk, y'all. He's gonna and it's the same thing when I used to go to church, and I used to stand there in church, and the pastor will say, "Everyone turn to page such and such, and read together out loud." And that's when I first started going, well, can I just do this at home first, right? Because I can read it, I can interpret the same thing. And then when I started doing that, I started saying, well, he ain't telling the truth on all of this stuff. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there when you said another adult. But go ahead.
Well, that's a whole nother. Okay, the reason that didn't work for you is because that paradigm was old by the time you got there. That paradigm was, we're gonna let one of them learn how to read. He'll read out of the book and tell the others. That's that religion was given to you by a people who didn't believe you had a soul. But that's a whole nother kettle of fish. I'm not even over there. I'm over here in the, why would the average thinker that we've all agreed that we are not going to sit here and underestimate the stupidity of the general public. Why, if these same people allow politicians to get up and say 200 words that mean nothing, These same people who already have heard of $15,000 toilet bowls and $600 pencils,
Right.
they've already heard that. So somewhere in your thinking must be that there's some kind of last straw outrage that's going to come from a person who finds out that their taxes are being used for alien stuff. No, it's not. These people are asleep. What your program is about, what this show is about, what Brother Billy Carson, in my opinion, is about, is not about convincing. He's about gathering.
Mhm.
Gathering. I have no interest. I don't. This is like I don't argue. I don't argue religion, especially with Black people. This is a favorite phrase of mine. Black man, Christian, reader. Pick two. You can't possibly be fully all three. I don't argue.
That's facts.
I don't argue with Black Christians who don't have passports with stamps in them that are not in Black trick-off spots. I'm not talking about Saint anything where you found another palm tree to screw under. I'm talking about some place you went that made you need a pen and a piece of paper. If you haven't done that, then you can't have this conversation with me. It's like you trying to discuss the Marvel universe with me, and all you know is that the Hulk turned green and rip out his clothes. You're woefully out of your depth for me to even deal with you. So I'm not gonna. I don't argue the existence of Jesus, because this is not. We are not. My grandmama, Big Mama, had an excuse. Big Mama came from the descendants of people who it was illegal to read. Now, you want to know how hot it is in Madagascar? Here. All the information is right here. I'm not force feeding you a damn thing. If you can somehow still believe that, and again, I'm gonna go till you stop me.
Oh, okay. Do I like do this?
Yeah, we'll come up with a sign. I don't believe that aliens have made full contact with us, not because of them, but because of us. We still worship people who can jump 4 feet off the ground for about 10 years and compare them to people who can't anymore.
Right.
These are people these are beings that have bent time to get here, only to find monkeys that praise athletes over those who teach their children. The only reason I believe aliens are showing themselves now, has anybody here seen the video of the monkey with the AK-47 with the African soldiers?
Oh yeah, where he shot at him.
Yeah, there's these African soldiers. They
Yeah.
stand around, they mocking the monkey, they think it's funny, and they give the monkey an AK-47. He looks at it, takes the safety off, and starts letting off. And these African soldiers are jumping like hot popcorn. We are the monkeys of the Milky Way, and the AK-47 is the nuke. They are here to make sure our dumbasses don't throw the rest of the galaxy out of balance. With this, we're like monkeys with this technology. We really don't know.
Well, Jeff,
Yo,
disclosure is not new. As a matter of fact, it's been a concentrated psyop to make us believe that disclosure is a new thing. You know, you take the sister was talking about Hollywood earlier, and if you take the traditional sci-fi movie, the spaceship lands, the alien jumps out, says, "Take me to your leader," and we automatically come under the notion that they're talking about a president, a premier, a prime minister somewhere in some kind of political system. And honestly, we're overlooking the fact that indigenous custodians of celestial knowledge and indigenous cultures have long been regarded as keepers of ancient wisdom and guardians of the celestial knowledge, meaning disclosure's been going is as old as humanity. And for some reason, we're thinking it's just like a new thing, a new situation.
Yeah. I think
I
it's
agree with
pretty much.
that.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna get us back on a couple of things. Y'all hold those. I'm gonna show another video. I got a few, and then we're gonna open things up and some more here. Just kind of, I think one of the things he talked about is the technology, and he was talking about the technology of these crafts, and I want to lean that in too, because we know we had this big thing a couple of weeks back, months back, about the balloons, the China balloons, and
Mhm.
all this UFOs. And of course, me being a ufologist, being on several TV shows and all those things. And I was first one saying, guys, that was not this Chinese balloon stuff, though, and all that. They're not UFOs from a alien world. They're not sitting ducks. That doesn't happen. And we don't have the in fact, the guy, I'm gonna play the clip and let y'all hear this. And this man works with the military. He knows what he's talking about. And this is a different line. And let's get on to this right now. Let me play it.
So we have multiple simultaneous sensor systems that have seen these objects go from 50 feet above the water to up to 14 miles and then back in less than a second. All right? I mean, that's just a truth. The U.S. government has confirmed that these kinds of measurements are done. Now, they're very careful what they say. They say, well, we have no evidence of ET. Well, because, no ET is going to come walking in here and say hello, right? But if you read between the lines and the flip side of it, it does stuff that we can't do. We know that the Russians and the Chinese are not doing. And so if you can go from 0 to 5,000 miles an hour and take a right turn and not end up squished like a bug on the windscreen on the other side, if they have windscreens, then what is the physics that accomplishes that? So what that tells you is that we need to rethink our physics, first of all, to say that, well, we saw birds fly, so it took us 3,000 years when we figured out how to fly. But now we see these things doing this. So what is it that lets us do? So I know some of the physicists on the inside who work at some of these big defense corporations who basically said, oh, well, here's how you tweak even general relativity to accomplish that.
All right. So apart from his scientific side in the back, when you hear the technology, like I said, I've been around this a long time. I've been around the fiber observables. We've been talking about that for years. But yet in the public, we want to sit here and believe the press when they start showing the U.S. shot down a UFO. Yeah, okay, anything flying around in our skies, we don't know what it is. It's technically a unidentified flying object, and it gets the acronym of the UFO. But not an alien technology. You heard him just say they got it on record. This man works with the government. They have it on record that this thing went from out of the water, and that's another conversation we're going to have, up into the sky 14 miles in less than a second. And we think we can shoot something like that down at will? Nicole, what do you think?
Yeah. For me, this is about two things. One is our origins, and second is the technology. And right now, the technology that these things are distributing and showing us that they're doing things beyond our greatest imagination that we can really understand with our current science, it just lets you know that they are so far beyond advanced than what we really can imagine. I mean, it could be anywhere from 1,000 to 1,000,000 years advanced, depending on how advanced this civilization is. But the government that has, pieces or parts of these down craft, they've been back engineering this technology since the 1940s. So we know that they've been back engineering them. How far is the technology now that they have? We know that they have their own versions of UFOs that haven't been publicized. So some people are seeing our government or these private contractor UFOs, and some people are seeing the real deal. But the technology is the key here, because the technology that they have can lead to free energy, and that is going to disrupt our society as we know it, causing possibly economic crashes. And that's the part I think that they're worried about the most, more than the philosophical, the religious thing, is because our society would crash. And if this technology can gets out free energy, you know, knowing that we can travel with the, you know, snap of a finger instead of, you know, taking planes, trains, cars, you know, what does this mean for our transportation? You know, all of our resources, you know, that's what's going to really shake our society as human society.
That's that part when you say, "I'll be right over, baby," and she's like, "What?" Or I'm done. You do okay? I'm done, baby. I know it was less than a second, but everything flies that way.
I tell you what, you can catch cheating fast.
Right.
Nicole's point, though, and you may be showing this clip later, but he did say, let alone we're talking about with the reverse engineering since the 40s. But now he also makes another point in the presentation. I don't know if you were going to show it, Roderick, or not, but he talks about the research of people who have been exposed to the radiation or whatever, they've been around the objects. But he said that what's happening in the brain and these chemical processes, but he links that to other phenomena to include astral projection of all things. And so, like Nicole's talking about, you get there in an instant. And what if we have that ability and nobody's ever told us? Which is
we do. We do.
Yeah,
We do.
We do. The one thing I really don't, I kind of take issue with is this technology being the destruction of societal norm and base, when the truth is every empire and every fiat currency known to man has fallen. They ain't worried about whether you get this. They're not. What I think, more than controlling the freedom of the common man, it's controlling the herd movement of the common man. Do you know that if the only reason the court system works is because only 10% of people plead not guilty? If 50% of the people pleaded not guilty, the court system would fold tomorrow. We are overloaded in every system. This alien technology, this alien opening up, this is about knowledge being the new money, and it's no longer hidden. It's no longer, it's a tricky little weasel, because what happens is young people confuse wisdom with access to knowledge, when the truth is the janitor got keys to the library.
That's a whole other conversation. You get into that, we could be like,
okay, yeah. Let me get back on the road.
It'll be uprising then.
Let me get back on the road. Well, the uprising is here. I've always said, when white folks in this country figure out that they've been screwed over almost as bad as us, there's going to be smoke in every city. Allah, smoke in every city. This alien technology, and I hate to be so arrogant about it, but y'all, it's for us. It's for us. It's for those who seek us. It's for those who seek the light. For those of you still stuck in the King James Version of the Bible, it says, "Let your light shine," not "shine your light." You're not here to shine the light. We're going to let the light shine and let the people come. The rest, no, I'm sorry. I can't. I don't give a fiddler's finger about teaching one individual against their will. The little green men don't exist. God is hope. Jesus is the way. Enjoy the four food groups. Dude, okay. I have no patience with these people. I look for y'all. I look for those who are looking, not those who need their thinking done for them. I don't. So I don't care. about those people. Yeah.
I get what you're saying, and we're going to get back on it. I need to share the information about the Forbidden Knowledge Conscious Awards. I hope you all are getting your tickets and going. So let me give you a little preview of what you're going to get there at the Conscious Award, and then we'll get back on part 2 of what we're doing with this particular show. And like I said, we got a lot coming up. Y'all don't want to miss it because, as you know, up right over here, no, this way, our man Daryl Bishop, was over 5 different churches in the clergy, and he made some discoveries. So we're going to tone that into our community of conversations, and then of course, Linda being a psychologist, she's going to talk. We're going to get deep. We're going to talk about the religion. We're going to get down into our communities of what's happening right after this.
Hey everybody, it's Billy Carson, also known as Forbidden Knowledge. I want to talk to you about a very special event coming up July 30th, 2023, the Forbidden Conscious Awards, the first annual event of its type. We're going to honor people who have been contributing to the conscious community for decades. People that you know and love that have helped you get to higher levels of thought and consciousness and awareness. And guess what? It's time to give them their flowers while they're still alive. It's going to be a live in-person event, but seats are going to sell out very fast. You want to make sure you're there in person for this amazing level event. It's going to be above the Oscars, above the Grammys. And guess what? You can help vote for the winners. Voting is available on forbiddenknowledge.com. And the categories are going to be social media influencer, podcast/radio host, TV host, actor, director, producer, entrepreneurs, health and wellness, philanthropists, authors, field researchers, archaeologists, space anomaly hunters, and of course, a Lifetime Achievement Award. And you want to be there in person because I'm going to be speaking. That's right, I'll be your keynote speaker that night at the Forbidden Conscious Awards. If you want to come to a mini conference, this is the place to be because I'm going to give you the knowledge that night as well as performances. We have celebrity guests performing. We'll have a halftime show where we're actually going to perform music for you. And don't forget about the pre-event mixer, where if you buy a box seat, you'll be in the VIP section, and you also have private access to a VIP mixer with celebrity guests. Shake hands, break bread, network, and then walk the red carpet with us and take amazing photos. It's going to be a night to remember. You don't want to forget this. And you help vote by going to forbiddenknowledge.com. Go to the Conscious Awards link. You can text in a vote for who you want for any category, as well as if you're out of the country, you can use the web form ballot to still vote for anyone you think is worthy of being honored that night. Make sure you hurry up and get your tickets because they're selling out very fast. I want to see you there. Forbidden Conscious Awards 2023.
That's dope. It said everything, but where is it?
Hey, hang on. It's in Miami, baby. Hold on. Let me get my notes out.
Let me ask you why the big secret concealing it from the mass view. UFOs circled in the sky, still get no reply. I think it's time for truth seekers to rise. Hands up if you're feeling how I'm feeling. Spread the truth and start revealing. Knocking down the doors of the big secret keepers. Truth seekers coming through your speakers. What?
Y'all like that?
Ooh, is that new? I like that.
Classic.
That's how I do. We got a couple new tracks.
Yo,
Yes.
that's funky as your granddaddy's work boots right there.
Okay.
That's a granddaddy.
Answer. Find the files for the evidence tampered. UFOs flying by becomes the standard. The war for information is far from over. Truth seekers bringing disclosure. What's done in the dark shall be revealed in time. Why the big secret about to blow your mind?
I know we hyping it.
That's hot.
The party.
That needs to be on the radio now.
Hey,
I'm feeling that.
We're gonna blow it out. But anyway, so as y'all would know, I am up for one of the awards. Here's the people that I'm one of the finalists. Wow. And I'm in a television host. And reason for that, and let's just give y'all a good background here, being that I've been on these TV shows recently. You got Open Minds with Gaia, George Norrie, Forbidden Knowledge TV, Forbidden Knowledge, Black Knight Satellite, Fox Tubi, Ancient Aliens. I was featured there a few months ago. Of course, Discovery Channel. I host a couple of shows. But anyway, representing the community. So, hey, I need your vote. And that's plain and simple. Now, if you already voted, but you can vote again, you got to vote for the winners. There is a link right here below in the description of this video for those who's watching. Look, we got 900 people in here now. It done grew almost 1,000. So therefore, if even half of you just took the time, go down in the link. It's voteforroderick.com. You can go there and it will allow you to cast that vote. And then I will walk across the stage representing all of us. And so that is something that I want to do. So yeah, we are okay. Y'all bring it. Come on, y'all. Come on. Y'all can bring it now. Y'all heard the song. Yeah, I created that was our new song. There we go. Go to voteforroderick.com and that'll take you straight to Forbidden Knowledge where you can do it. Make sure you get your ticket. It's going to be in Miami, man. It is going to be the place to be. Red carpet. I mean, VIP everything. You're going to put on your suits and you're going to have a great time. This is the first of its kind, the first annual, and we got to give a shout out.
When is it?
What do you mean? Y'all didn't get the dates?
I didn't see the date. I don't know. It could be I've been taking a few preemptive glaucoma strikes, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. And it could be that. now I missed the date. Did everybody else get the date and I missed it?
I need to make sure the audience knows. Nobody, you know what? I know. I'm gonna say the date. I know when it is.
How about that? Because I didn't see it. I just saw a bunch of stuff I like, and I didn't know when and where to go do it.
Do anybody in the audience? Do y'all know what date it? Because we got to make sure everybody's. My show producer Lonnie. She's putting up the links and stuff. But you mean none of y'all know y'all going, and y'all don't even know when y'all going? That means I got a new T-shirt. That that actually you can find it on the website. Why the Big Secret right now, and that's one of them right there.
Oh, that's fly.
And that's the other one right here. It's all online right now, ready to be. So we don't have. Okay, so everybody needs to lead because we're truth seekers and we're leaders and everything. So it's gonna be in June, right?
July.
July. Huh?
Looks like the 29th through the 31st.
Yeah, and it's in July. June is the last day to vote. That's what was on my mind. So you have up to June 30th to vote. So that gives y'all enough time to go click on your phones, go to the link, and vote for Roderick and all of that. But you can get the tickets now before it sell out. You can do a group spot. And if you're a business and a business with no sign and sign of no business, and you want to parlay where we can put you out front there, hit me up, go to whythebigsecret.com, the website, and you will be able to just hit me and I'm going to connect you with Billy and Liz and them or whoever. Actually, Liz is the one over it. So if you can get a box seat, you got sponsorships. You're talking working with Forbidden Knowledge. Millions of people are going to hear your brand and everything else. So contact at Why the Big Secret or go to whythebigsecret.com. The website is up. We've been working on it. And there's a contact us file. Do it. I'll talk with you. I'll vet you first. I'm not just going to put you in front of, and you're just asking, do we, take, I ain't going to say that. But anyway, they serious people to be a sponsor, to be on the inside of what's going on with that event. And if you got a business and sponsorship packages from $2,500, $5,000 on up, but it comes with box seats. You can bring some people with you. You can be sitting up there like a star, like at the Oscars and all of that. So I'm just hyping it because it's going to be the biggest thing ever. And I want to walk across the stage, so I need y'all vote. All right, let's get back into. Wait a minute. What do y'all think? I'm voted. I need to hear y'all. Y'all got to come on, talk about me.
Vote for Roderick.
Vote for Roderick.
Vote for
Roderick.
Okay. Well,
vote for Roderick. He the man.
Let me put it to you this way. Voting for Roderick ought to be the cover charge to stay. How about that? How much does it cost you? How much, dear? Yeah, let me at him for a second. Maybe you're here because this is the regular bovine feces on the internet that you're so used to. Maybe smart people like these. I do it on my own channel, but smart people like these haven't given you enough stuff to say to look smart at parties. Maybe we haven't. If we have, if you have been mentally edified by this, if you've been able to edify others, then I hate to trouble you to actually do 3-4 clicks and vote for the dude who you quote often to look like you smart on your own. Can't do that. Can't do that.
They can do that because your
Okay.
eyes are useless when your mind is blind.
How about that?
It's time to think why. In fact, we will be talking a little bit about Project Black. There you go. The shirts are in the house. So we're going to tie that into our conversation today. So y'all get ready. Y'all get to see this. There it is right on my desk. Yes. And that story is the story behind this brown skinned extraterrestrial here with the eye in the middle in his Egyptian robe and a tagline that says, start the conversation. So we're going to get into that. All right, let's get back on the show here because we were getting ready to do it. All right, so we just talked about the clip and let me see what the next one's going to be about because we're going to get into some religion and we're going to get into the neighborhood with this conversation. We're going to go deep. And
can I make mention of something real quick on the technology end?
Go ahead.
Before you move forward. So Jeff was really onto something when he started talking about money and fiat, right? I think there's a shell game going on in the deep state, and I think we tend to overlook how the most important technology is money, is the way that they cloak the money and is the way that they present or interpret the way the money moves, if you really think about it. So now we have cryptocurrency, right? Cryptocurrency was a level of freedom, that was introduced as far as monies and fiat currencies and so on and so forth, that's being drawn back into that zombie socioeconomic flow that we're so used to. Money is energy, and that's something we should never forget. Currency is energy, and the fiats only represent the way that we use energy. And a big part of this whole cover up, the big part of this whole cloak, is the way that they draw energy from us and the way that they hide the fact that energy in the universe is of abundance, of endless abundance, and something that should be free. So I think he was really on to something with that, and maybe it's something we can take a deeper look into at a later time.
Yeah, we definitely get into that because it's just so much, especially all you thought leaders here, that we can cover so much. And I think, one of the things that, always is to get things done on a ground level where people can kind of see the reality of what's happening. And especially, with what is going on out here when it comes down to extraterrestrials and, how do we tie that in, and as well as us being the aliens too, or all those things. And I think, most of us will be okay, especially those of us here, those who watch, Forbidden Knowledge and all those things. And of course, he has over 500,000 subscribers here, 1 million on Instagram. But there's billions of people out there, and there's millions of people in our communities, the African-American communities, the indigenous communities, of course, white communities, you name it, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. It's just a lot of people that are just not connected to reality of what's happening. And that's where I like to focus is, even though we got our high level conversations that can still kind of shed the light to like what Jeff said earlier, everybody's not going to make it. But if we just say one starfish, just that one starfish, it matters, we just say one starfish, you know what I'm saying? And go ahead.
I say if you save only one starfish with all this effort, you suck. I've always heard that when people say, if I can just help one person, then you're freaking horrible.
And that lends to that energy argument again. That's a big segue back into that energy argument. So yeah, I can dig that.
Okay.
I think there is a less than rude awakening that is happening that I'm sure more than myself here, we've all heard of the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
Where the very changing, you and I are changing. We're changing. Everybody ain't. which means it's almost like, does anybody here roller skate? You ever been to roller skate rink and you see they go, okay, couples only, skate backwards. People, we skating backwards. What we doing ain't for everybody. So what I want to find, or what my personal mission is with regard to the truth, I'm a seeker of truth, is that I share my truth, or not my truth, I share the truth that I come across with other people who are coming across the truth. Busting my knuckles, it's a bunch of people who need this, brother. It's a bunch of people who are going to get it, but it's a whole bunch more ain't. And I think that whole walk out in the public and go, hey, you paying taxes for aliens. Dude, you talking to an idiot. He don't care. He don't care. I'm going to let him not care.
But he should, because at least give him the curiosity to go to the next step, Jeff, and say, what am I spending my money on? And now we can get them into conversation, right? Because
point taken. Point taken. I'm a bit Peter with it. I like to chop your ear smooth off. I don't suffer fools, brother. I don't believe that the universe is suffering fools right now.
Right. Okay.
Well, on that point, I'd like to say, and much respect, brother Jeff, because everybody's coming at this from a different angle, and we all like a big wedding. We all bring different gifts to the party. For example, I was a good wrestler in high school, but I didn't get there because of my natural talent. I had a good coach. I was a successful Army officer because I had good mentors, and I was a good preacher because I had people like Dr. King I listened to. My point simply being is somebody's got to teach the kindergartner. Somebody's got to teach the first graders. And if you're a good high school teacher, good high school coach, or you teach at the collegiate level, then fine. But still, and Roderick had mentioned the indigenous people. Somebody's, their philosophy is they're looking 7 generations out. And that's been my focus. And so if we're going to be responsible human beings, then who's going to have the responsibility to look out for those kids? And if it's true that it only takes, say, 3% of any population to hit a tipping point.
That's it.
To get a shift. Well, okay, we just need 370 million people out of 8 billion. And this is that's how you reach them. And the scriptures that comes to my mind, I'm not preaching Bible, but I'm saying it was written in the ancient text that I come that none should perish. And that's my heart. I'm all about that starfish, pick it up. It made a difference to that one. So we all come from different places. And so if that's your lane, I respect your lane, and if somebody else is good with grade school and elementary, and I had the same experience in the church. People would come in looking for something, spiritual food, but everybody's not in the 5th, 8th, 12th grade level. Some people I say, okay, you're like a third grade Christian, so we got, and that's whatever it is. And so in this vein of disclosure, then it's not our fault that we was made ignorant. It was deliberate. It was a plot. It was intentional and still is intentional. And we still have to be careful about what we listen to and who put it for us to find, and what the agenda is while they're presenting it now. So I agree, we need to be skeptical. But at the same token, if there's technology out there, and if it affects the economy, it can wreck the economy, because I think we can do something better. I'm not stuck on this paradigm that we have to have this currency, because of it inherently requires poverty. Capitalism does not work without a group of people in poverty. So maybe we can do something better. So they can tear it down, because it's toe up from the flow up, and we can maybe build back better with something else for the next 7 generations.
Well, that was a little politics.
With that.
Build
back better.
I dug it, but it still has the same common denominator, brother. The first grader, the second grader, and the third grader, the wrestler, you know what they all had in common? They didn't have to be convinced to show up. You showed up. Your coach coached you, and down the street was the best wrestler in the world who became a garbage man. He didn't show up. The show up is the denominator. And I really do. Believe me, brother, I am in I'm in lockstep with y'all with regard to spreading this word because it's important.
It is.
It's important.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
at the end of the day, the one common denominator that we all have, regardless of your skin color or your faith, there's one common denominator that unites us all, and that's something called death. And we go around with fools who got no qualms about another Hiroshima, a Nagasaki, another 9/11. They don't care. And so whatever their agenda is, if we're going to have a future, you know, then we got to look for those kids, and we got to knock down anything that's going to preclude that from happening, because death's going to come for us all. But we can decide with that 3% how we go out, what that future is going to be, and you get there by recruiting. You know, we got to have some level of cohesion, some level of unity.
Okay, all right, I got it. We're here, and yes, we got a lot of conversations we have to have, all of us, with the people, because I'm on the same boat. I believe most of our young people are religiously and emotionally bankrupt, and you know, and the reason for
bankrupt and corrupt.
And the reason for that is because the stuff just don't work. It didn't work for, you know, it's like me telling my daughter, follow the exact principles of this book. It didn't work for your daddy, and it didn't work for your grandmother. It didn't work for your great grandmother, but it's going to work for you because you different. You know, you different, you know, and so I get it. So that's why the spirituality thing, consciousness thing is growing. They know that there are more. They know that something else is out there. They know that they're not crazy. They're getting these dreams in the middle of the night. They're getting all of this astro projection and think they're in some other world and like with a high or just whatever. And they probably got high. And speaking of getting high, that rolls me into my next video. Let me show it real clip, and let's go into something else that he was talking about, the scientific community, and just watch what he does. That kind of tripped me out a little bit, but we'll roll into it. Here we go.
Finally, what you're seeing is that a lot of people who are within the intel communities as well are frustrated, and they want to bring it out because they haven't been able to figure it out because the best minds aren't working on it.
Yeah.
The crazy scientists at Harvard, MIT, Yale, or wherever are basically not allowed in because maybe they do a little bit too much of this or other things, and they couldn't get a security clearance if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that? He said, "Yes, mine." To a little too much.
But he ain't lying.
And a little other stuff. And they're at MIT, they're in all these places. They couldn't get a security clearance if they wanted to. Yeah. But it's the best.
And that proves the point where we have to. So I would say the common denominator is cultivating leadership by any means necessary from whatever angle that we come from, right? And I think it's important that we expand the notion of planetary leadership, because if just taking what he said, that's the shell game that I'm talking about. You know, that's rigging the board. You know, you never get the greatest minds, and you never get the root disclosures that the people need to really make conscious, critical thinking decisions. You understand? So we have to expand the notion of planetary leadership beyond political governments, and honestly, we kind of we need to shift our view back onto indigenous communities and just the regular population, because they've long held the holistic view of leadership, because they recognize the interconnectedness of all living beings and the need for stewardship of the planet Earth. So I think those things are highly important, and those are the things that we need to really be pushing forward and I would say propagating and disseminating out here to the masses.
All right, so I got one for all of you. So just like, you know, I started Project Black, okay, and all of you are part of it. And you know, we have those conversations, and let me just show the seal here. It's the Black League of Alien Contact Knowledge.
That's so fly. Right
at the bottom there says start the conversation. That's what we want to do. And it's for, if you white, it's for you too. This is Me being a UFO investigator, writing some books, being in 9 TV shows, doing other documentaries and research, I found that there was a disproportionate disconnect in information and everything when it came down to African American and indigenous community. It just is. Stories, people don't have a safe place where they want to talk about it. It's okay, we're up here. But there's a lot of people and a lot of stories that we could have more in ufology if we were able to tap into some of our history and stories that wasn't told. Because if you go back to slavery, or if you go back to the 50s and 60s, and MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, which I'm a certified investigator there, started in 1969. Before that, the reporting agencies would have been a local sheriff department. You're not getting an African American person, indigenous person, and let me make sure I make this clear. They treated white people who got into UFO things down here too. So imagine where we were under the table, and what person would have walked into the local sheriff department and said, "Hey, I had an alien got me last night," or my cousin got kidnapped by an alien. Oh, so we all think the KKK did it, but there was a lot of abductions that unrecorded in all of this. And so where I'm going with this is, I felt that there, as time is passing, there's a segment of those population that's going to be gone, and the stories are going to go with them because they didn't have a place to share it, didn't want to pass it down. And it's important because within those stories, we're going to find out some of the powers that we have, because they're not just contacting you by happenstance. You're not being contacted in the middle of the night and being taken places and shown places because you're crazy. Somebody's reaching out. There are some things that is coming together. And so I think it's important to truly understand that. And those are one of the things. So I need to give a shout out to my boy, Chris. He took the time to text me and said, throw me a shout out. So everybody throw a shout out to Chris Pina, please.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, Chris.
Peace, Chris. Peace.
All right.
What's up, Chris?
You there you go. You're close to the subject. And so what I'm saying is, and then that's no different. So I just want y'all to know, if y'all want to support Project Black, you want to be up here in some of these future streaming that we're going to do, go to whythebigsecret.com. The website is up. It's not total, but it's ready. You can go to contact form, put in your information. And if you want to go to and get your Project Black shirt or whatever, go to www.whythebigsecret.com and you can buy it right now. The shirts are there, free shipping and all those things. And so we can definitely do that. So the whole point where I'm getting with this is, we have a lot of, go look at all the documentaries, go look at all the stories. You won't find many stories of our communities there. But yet we are being abducted. We are being contacted. Now, all of y'all should know it's getting ready to get big. Barack Obama and Michelle Obama just got their own new production company. They're doing a documentary film called White Mountain, and that is the Betty and Barney Hill abduction story. So now you got the first time ever a past president is for to connect himself with the UFO stuff. Now, is he crazy? Is he crazy? No. He knows it's great content too.
He knows something.
He's not crazy. He's allowed, because there was a president who wanted to blow the whistle. But they got rid of that on November 22nd, 1963.
Yep.
Well, yeah. So yeah,
to bury him.
Down here, you're talking in Dallas here, right?
Yeah, man. There, this where we are now.
We did a story on, it's in the files right here on Why the Big Secret. It's in here. I can go and show y'all some people of interest in what he's talking about. We're not going to get into that because it's top secret. We'll talk offline.
Sure.
And then y'all don't know. But yeah, and then his girl, he had his girl Marilyn, she threatened, and they was deep. And a lot of people don't know. We're not worrying about. They're not. Let me tell you something. You got stories from the Jeffrey Epstein stuff and all that. Let me tell y'all, ain't nothing bigger than the UFO secret.
No bigger story.
Because like y'all heard them earlier, you got world implication, and we getting ready to get into it right now. You got religion, you got all of that stuff, because the problem with this thing is right now, is if they stepped out today and said hello, there will be some communities because of economics, because of knowledge, will lose their freaking mind. And they look like a lot of y'all. That's all I got to say.
Actually, I would say the story gets bigger after official disclosure, because once we have that, and then people begin to discover where you came from, what you are, what you're capable of doing, and actually, hypothetically, what if we are the most intelligent species? What if we are superior? Maybe they may be old. Just what if you were to find out that, you know, how we built pyramids and you were restored to that knowledge and technology? What if you could do astral projection, if you could do remote viewing?
Yeah.
And there's nobody ever told us how to do it. So even after disclosure, I think that may be an opportunity for even greater transformation and build a community, maybe something better than capitalism, you know, where they take the skills and harmony and people work together and we can stop this business of bombs and bullets. I don't know. I think it gets better when we get out on the other side. I think humanity just shifts and would change.
Absolutely.
What if some of the things that are in my diagnostic manual considered mental illness, not mental illness, not my diagnosis?
Well, we got to get back to your manual.
Watch
and
out.
who wrote it?
That's a very interesting way to look at it too, because one of the things we have to do with these platforms is completely change the paradigm, because it's the paradigm that exists that's oppressing us.
Exactly.
You see,
yes, it
so
is.
like a big part of the shuffle is going to be a big part of the change is going to be the economic shuffle that happens. That is happening because disclosures have been happening for a long time, and a lot of these new technologies that we're receiving, that we're getting, we need to really step back and look at them and realize that these are the direct result of past disclosure, of disclosure that's already been going down and disclosure that's already been happening, from microchips to chat GPT to cryptocurrency. All of these different new technologies, those are directly founded on disclosure that's already happening. So we shouldn't be waiting for this imaginary or magical disclosure to just pop up. It's been something that's been happening on a consistent basis for centuries.
Mm-hmm. All right, I understand that. And we could get into that, and I know a lot of y'all, y'all have something to chime in, and then we'll move to the last part of the religious and a lot of other couple of things here. But even though you're talking about the financial implications, but how do we get to the ground? Because the money implication is not going to affect the people working at Burger King and McDonald's, right? Because they're on that scale where it's just going to be there. And no pun intended, any of you, if you work there, because if you see me, I want to hook up. And I mean, let me just keep it real, man. All right. If you go throw something at me and I drive to the drive-thru and that's that dude, put it in the bag, throw it in the car.
Right. If an extra order of fries just happened to spill upside down in my bag, I ain't mad about it.
Yeah.
You need an appropriate amount of ketchup and napkins.
Now, keep in mind, I am on a weight loss show right now with Billy Carson's sister, Maria, and yeah, I am losing weight. I'm building new muscles now.
Doing well, extremely well, too. Applaud you, Roderick.
I used to wear 6 now.
Keep up the good work, Rod.
Yeah, I'm in a smaller shirt. It's gripping, but it's working, okay? I'm not gasping for air because it's too tight. And so I will be sexy about a year from now and available.
Oh, snap.
And available.
Don't throw it out there, Cat Daddy.
Well, right now, because if a woman said, catch me if you can have it, I'm like, go on, girl. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. You know what I'm saying? It's a terrible price to pay.
Yeah, man, you got gray hair. Those of us with gray hair will take some piece over a piece all week. All week. You can only do the danky wanky for so long, and then you got to talk, and that's where it goes downhill. I need beats.
We ain't barking like desperate, like the dog chases. I mean, I run the sentiment, and let me move on. But I run the sentiment of the young bull, and the
Come on,
daddy
man.
bull. You know the story. The young bull said, "Hey, let's run down there and you know
Have our way with a couple of them bulls."
I'm a stroller.
Let's run down that hill and let cow, right?"
I'm a
And
stroller.
the older bull said, "No, let's walk down there and them all." Okay, so there we go. All right, so I'm gonna walk down. All right, so let's move on to another clip, and then we're gonna bring it into the religious home. And when we bring it to the religion side of this is where I want all of you to, take off your drone pilot hats, and let's put on your boots, and let's get down to the ground. And how do we figure this out for the people of the masses?
You mean stop being so shy?
Don't be shy, but just think about it. I know, like I said, they're not, and I'm saying everybody made great points tonight, but my goal tonight was to let people understand that the alien stuff is real. The technology is here on one end of the spectrum, is happening. But what I'm going to show them in a couple of clips in a few minutes is the game changer of it all. And I think we all can come to that agreement. But let me play a couple of these clips. And the only thing about it is, are people going to be ready if the aliens show up? And the answer to that is
hell no.
Hell no.
They won't be ready. And so,
they're going to be coming to people like us.
They're going to be coming to people like us. And so we need to get things going. So let me play the other couple of clips, and let's get into one in particular is he's going to talk about the religious side of it in the stuff that he knows. So let's go there.
How can we accelerate this, right? Like, we want to get the brightest minds on this. I think maybe you and I share this. Like, let's go. Let's do it.
I think you need to bring together, this is the part of this professionalization.
Yeah.
You need to bring together the right set of, basically, frankly, anthropologists and sociologists. How do we talk about the fact that we're not at the top of the intellectual food chain, first of all? How do you deal with the religions? Every one of these religions is going to basically look to whatever that is and say, okay, well, what do they believe? Right? We know that the Vatican is involved. And I'm working with people who are working with the Vatican to basically get them. They've already said, this is very arrogant, they've already said, well, of course they can be Christians. Of course they can have a Jesus. They can be saved. They have a soul. I think the opportunity is for us to worry about whether they think we're worthy of saving.
Now, okay, so
Can you say that again? I'm sorry, what?
Y'all heard him. He said, and this is what concerns me the most. This is why Project Black was together. This is before like he said, they're already trying the initiative that I was setting for 6 months ago, was that we got to start getting our community leaders, not the, even though we talk about the basketball players and all that, but whatever people's going to listen to, we have to get people to start the conversation that is okay, that you can look into Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, where it says, let's make men in our image, in the likeness of ourselves. And if you go to school and you had to pass a test, was our plural or singular, and you wrote, plural, then you can go with the trifactor of the Spirit, the Holy Ghost, and all that. But what I'm saying is, what do we look like? And what if we look like them? And all of those things, and what are the reminiscences of technology? How do we know we didn't evolve from the apes? And all of a sudden, or as Billy and I have done shows on Noah and the Adam and Eve story, that 5 billion people come from 2 people, and all of those possibilities. Did everything fit in this boat? And he brought 2 of everything, and why didn't he leave a mosquito behind? And that we wouldn't have them. Just leave one. Right. So it's all of these indicators. And then Nicole, we've been exploring the book. I'm not going to give the name out right now, but it's one of the most powerful books out there. And there was an alien talking, and the alien was saying, hey, we gave y'all, and it's something that he said, and I got the clip, but I'm not going to show it. But he talked about that the evidence of what we're looking for is here. We just don't see it. Our consciousness and our vibrations and all of those things don't allow us to see the reality of what the things are. And the extraterrestrials think the same way. They're saying we put all these signs. Are they going to be smart enough to figure it out? Are they going to? And are we? Probably.
Hell, no.
So we probably won't. Okay. And I think at the end of the day that we're going to have issues if we do not prepare people on a ground level. That's just me. Because for something in my dream, something when I talk about is you're going to be okay. Everybody up here is okay. Everybody who's watching is probably okay. Everybody who subscribes to Billy's channel is probably okay. But we still got billions and billions of people who are saying to themselves, the basic question, when they find out I'm a UFO investigator, is UFOs real? They still ask that simple question. And I'm like, we passed that point, but I can't leave them behind like that. You know what I'm saying? I can't. Yeah, but go ahead. Go ahead,
brother.
Let Zoe. Zoe was getting ready to say something, and Jeff, I know you're gonna like.
Yeah.
You know.
I just want to make this clarification. As far as the spirituality and the connection that we have to extraterrestrial beings, I believe that the most informative and best time in history for us when it related to that and us connecting to it, I'd probably say was like the mid or early 70s, back when Sun Ra, Parliament,
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Wind, and Fire, right? Everybody was on that spaceship. And then all of a sudden there was a conscious shift in music and a conscious shift in entertainment. And at some point we ended up being, you know, this currently brainless mumble rap listening, you know, shake your tail feather music. And, you know, I can honestly say that as a 47-year-old man, you know, I'm pretty upset about the current state of things, because at one point in time, I thought that there was going to be, you know, from the 70s to the 80s, I thought there was going to be a movement of enlightenment. We were all going to be kumbaya and the money system will be dissolved and we will finally connect to the mothership. But, you know, here we are, 2023, and they trying to drag us back to 83.
Well, I mean, but first of all, let me give y'all a whole disclaimer here. I did my Kevin Hart impression with him when he said he was 47. I said, damn, nobody laughed.
I missed it. I did.
Kevin Hart.
I was radared in on him. He was.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody said nothing. The audience in the chat, nobody said nothing. I'm like, damn, you know. And then I was gonna say, I'm sorry, damn it. You know, I was ready to go in. So that means I can't be no comedian. So I got it. Well, you know, it's one of those.
You just got to work on time and advantage point. That's all.
Well, it was no better point than him saying I'm a 47-year-old man, and I'm like, damn, you know,
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, ain't nobody in here. I think we covered this before we got on, and you know, I'm not anti anything. I'm just incredibly pro-black.
Okay, and you got that black thing down because you've been around it a long time, like 50-some years of it, right?
I'm just incredibly. I'm incredibly pro whatever you call the people on 60th and Damon in Chicago, where it's real ghetto. I'm pro them people. I'm just a lot of people get the vernacular confused. I got the first thing that came to me, and Zero can attest to this, bruh. Sometimes I hate the way things come to me. I honestly do. I got some really, really, really bad news for you and brother Billy. You know them superstars that there must be somebody that's a superstar to carry the ball.
Right.
Bad news. It's y'all. Because everything around you is crumbling. Everything around you is crumbling. Okay. Those superstars that you are looking for, the very mantle they stand on is anti what you think. These people, who do you expect to tell you the truth? The same people lying to you?
That makes sense.
The devil only tells you the truth because he has to, because it's in the universal laws. So this group of enlightened ones to come from who we already see, I really don't believe that's what we're going to see, brother. I think we're going to see a grand melting of what we know, a grand melting of what we used to think.
Yes.
And like fire purifies.
I can't
Put
wait.
your life through fire, and guess what? Burn off all the bad dudes that wasn't supposed to be around you. You ain't got no money. You need money to keep idiots around you. The bad habits burn off. Well, that's what's happening to us.
Right.
We're going through the fire, and what you and Brother Billy are putting out is pure. It's pure in its nature.
White
so
hot.
It is going and white hot in its nature. So it too, as it heats up, is melting away. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna shut up. You're going to look around, and it is not that you will be elevated. You're gonna be right where you at. Everything will have fallen around you, brother. You are what you're looking for. You and Brother Billy are what you're looking for. Real talk, in my opinion.
Now let's talk about that meltdown. Let's talk about religion and why, because see, if we break it down to the groundational roots, right? Religion has to fail for you to see. Religion is the cloak. It has to fail. It's failing before us. It's crumbling right now. You understand? Now, my background is so I don't have a difference of opinion when you say break it down to the root. I can only come from my background, and my background is indigenous. As I'm listening to you all here,
right?
English is not my indigenous language. I'm transliterating everything y'all are saying in my root language and trying to figure out, what my response is. Okay, I hail from two major indigenous cultures, right? That have ritualistic, that have biocultural settings that have nothing to do with Abrahamic religions, right? Now, if you notice, the Abrahamic religions were conquering religions, and they deemed all indigenous religions as devilish because of one common thing, one weakness. And that's because those religions are human-centric, as opposed to indigenous worldview, which is eco-centric. Now, let's go to Black, right? You'll have people that have the argument that we're separating by giving a voice to indigenous, or by shedding the light on different cultures. And I would beg to differ, because it is important that we do that because of the cloak that religion is laid. There are a lot of voices that aren't being heard, and because of that, the majority of the masses think in this antiquated, non-functional, non-efficient way. And that's why I said what I said about the currency, not because it's about the money, it's because it's about the energy and the way that we use energy and efficiency. Religion is an energy sink. Throughout antiquity, religion as you know it now, the Abrahamic religions, the conquering religions, are energy sinks. All they do is draw in energy and redistribute that energy to a ruling class. That's why it has to fail. In the new paradigm, it's on us. In the new paradigm, we're going to realize that disclosure's been going on the whole time, and there's been a manipulation of energy. Now, some might call it currency now, some might call it dollars, but it all breaks down to energy and how efficiently and timely we use that energy to move on into a future and to develop ourselves into the next stages of evolution. There's a block. That block is religion. It's a human-centric block. If you study all indigenous cultures, because that's what I do, that's my background, right? I go through and indigenous cultures aren't just Black, aren't just brown. There are white indigenous cultures on the planet. It's pretty much anything that doesn't fall in alignment with the Abrahamic religion and ties into the ecosystem or ecocentrism and stewardship of the earth is pretty much considered an indigenous culture. That's the common thread between all of these cultures that we're overlooking. That's the celestial knowledge that was given by these extraterrestrials that seeded our cultures that we're overlooking and getting caught up in what people feel about religion or how they're going to melt down. It's supposed to melt down. You understand? There has in order for a phoenix to emerge, there has to be a fire. And that's what we're experiencing right this minute. And we're overlooking the root of indigenous cultures. That's ecocentrism versus human centrism. Humans are not the center of the universe. We are part of an ecosystem. We were placed here by these seeding cultures or these extraterrestrial beings that placed us here. They disseminated a certain type of knowledge. And the common thread between all of that knowledge is the fact that they gave us a mandate to take care of the planet Earth, which we are not doing.
All right,
that should be the ultimate religion.
All right. Now we open up that box.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing to the panel, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around the room as we come into the end, and that way everybody have a chance to respond on where we're going. Fair enough. So just what you heard Zero just talking about, but we know history has more wars has been fought over religion than anything on the world itself. More people have died. And even if there was a restructure of religion, if the aliens show up and because that's the question everybody's going to ask, who is your God? And if that answer comes out anything but what we've been, shaped with, you're talking an uprising, right? Or rebellion already. So they're not going to let that happen. People will die before that happens. They will kill to keep the structure.
Yep.
Okay.
They will brand us heretics and try to get rid of us all.
They will come up with a plan, and I'm saying the big secret keepers, and you can put that in any place that y'all want, or whoever that is. So how do you, for all of you, now, so Daryl, I'll start with you. How do we run that path on this side? Because not only that, if we start with young folks who are ready to listen, who's already emotionally and religiously bankrupt, what the heck? Yeah. So if we start with young folks on one side of the fence, but yet we can try to lead them over here, they're going to have their own, some of them, in some cases, parents, cousins, brothers, sisters, pulling them over here saying, don't go, you're stupid. And if you do go, I'm gonna cut you off because you're not Christian anymore, or you're not following this thing. But we do know it's gonna break out of religion. That is, but this is why they're preparing to keep it together and to shift. Oh yeah, the aliens, they believe in Jesus too.
Wow.
They're
I didn't even see that coming.
Ooh. They're prepared for that.
I'm sorry.
Brother Roderick, they are already doing that. That's already a common narrative in the UFO community.
No.
It's like they're saying our jig is up. We got to change the plan.
You just tied? What?
Yeah, well,
that is ridiculous.
But Daryl, since you from the clergy, we'll start with you. You've been there. How would if you were still in? Not that you are. We're gonna play not the word devil's advocate. We're just gonna play smart box here, whatever we're calling it. Why the big secret? But what would be a strategy of a clergy, from your perspective, if they had to make that turn and say, we got to convince the people that the aliens worship Jesus too? How would they do that?
Oh man, I'm almost hesitant to even entertain that as a question.
Okay, it's not a question then. It's rhetorical enough to say, you got to tell us, brother. You got to tell us.
I would.
Then we get to the psychologist over here, and how would we handle it mentally? But go ahead.
You don't even want to give them the keys to,
I would put it like this. Like for me, personally, aliens, extraterrestrials, whatever, it doesn't even fascinate me at that level because I just accept it. It's just what's so.
Okay.
I've been exposed to so much evidence, seen enough, and I'm following reputable, credible people. But I can't hit, like I said in one of our earlier interviews, it's something you just can't walk up and just start talking about it, and nobody's going to be in a pulpit and say it. And if you did, it'd be a pastor would be a fool, because you shouldn't be saying anything to as your pastor of a flock. If it's not in your Bible, you don't say it in the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be ridiculed right away. So it's one of those crucial conversations that we're not having, and we're not having it very well. So what do you do is like formats like this, where we can have some dialogue, where you don't feel trapped, and we can get to talk about these other texts that you and Billy talk about. We can talk about government studies where why is it that we got 12 senators asking for information from whistleblowers, and we're creating these other agencies? And you got to appeal to people's minds, because right now, to a large degree, and it's not their fault, because people, you know, they think they know, but they don't know that they don't know. And that's a dangerous place to be in, when you're certain that you know and you don't know that you don't know, but you're absolutely sure you know. Now that's what I call, and that's what happened to a lot, to include in the religion as opposed to spiritual. I call it SOS Airlines, SOS Air. And we've been stuck on stupid and instant replay. And we keep going to that same terminal. They keep running back that same play, and they play to our ignorance. And then you tell me, as a matter of faith, well, people think, and again, please don't get me wrong, and I hope I don't get a bunch of nasty grams, but but people, when you got to stand on something on faith in spite of evidence to the contrary, okay, that says something about your intelligence, or the lack thereof, as Uncle Jeff was saying there. And you're probably stuck on stupid. If you know the Kemetic, the Dogon, Master Naba taught, he's gone now, but he would say, you know, particularly in the conditions we found ourselves, you know, if it's not working, just face it, it's just not working. And religion hasn't worked for us. It hasn't since 1453, ever since the Catholic Church issued the papal bulls to convince people that, you know, if you're a minority indigenous person, the doctrine of discovery, just go take the land from them, because those aren't even real people. They don't even count. They don't even have a soul. But they got hoodwinked. And they're stuck on stupid cycle. And so we having these conversations by at least edging people, even if they leave here tonight, you know, if there's just people that have one or two more questions. And I'm thinking about when I went to, because it's a wrestling match where you're coming from a point of faith. And now you said, but well, where's the evidence and where are the facts? And how does that reconcile with this thing of faith? And you find that faith is really nothing more than what somebody told you. You didn't even read it for yourself. You just know what you heard and you got faith for it. But now what are the facts? And now you got a guy who's telling you, a Stanford professor, 40 patents, doing government black ops, telling you, we got 12 senators that are voting for this, and they're trying to get this information. We have a fact that we have a government agency that's got 25 people on the staff right now looking at this phenomenon that your Bible even tells you, the Nephilim, the Anunnaki, those who from the heavens came, and these giants, and they just kind of hint at it. But you have an intellectual responsibility to use your mind. So,
Linda, all right, let's go from a psychology standpoint. Why, in your opinion only, you know, your opinion, why we couldn't handle the truth? I don't think if they just came out tomorrow, we could not, and I'm using we as the masses, not us. Like I say, everybody's here is as woke as they can want to be. If we want to use the word woke, or you there, you understand it. You don't even have to use the word woke. You just you're already there.
Present.
But let's go with, you know, a person can handle it. And it's actually the whole theme of Why the Big Secret. You know, when Will Smith, y'all remember, sat on the bench and asked Tommy Lee Jones, he says, why the big secret? People are smart. He says a person is smart, but people are dumb and stupid. Well, why wouldn't people handle the truth, Linda, from your standpoint?
People are trying to fit in, especially people like us, people who look like us, who find ourselves in communities, in extended communities where it's hard for us to fit in.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, religion. Goes back to religion. Religion has also created a lot of fear within us.
Yeah.
We fear that, okay, our life is already hard. We fear that if we don't follow the dictates of religion, we're going to go to hell. If we think in a certain way, if we think that that there is something more than us as humans, we're going to go to hell.
Hmm.
It's all fear, 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 fear based. And like Mr. Nichols said, we have to provide spaces for people to safely come and have open discussions without fear. Tonight is the beginning of their safe space
Yeah.
because we know we're all sitting here because we all have our own stories. We all have our own experiences. The universe, divine source, has decided to bring us together tonight. There's no such thing as a coincidence. That does not
Come on,
exist.
sis.
No such thing as a coincidence. And we know that something big is getting ready. We all feel it. All of us feel something big is getting ready to happen.
Yep.
It's happening.
All of us. Roderick, how in the world could you have found me? You need to tell them the story of how you found my email. You know divine source. You know the creative universe
Absolutely.
for you to find me. You know the creator of the universe brought all of us together tonight.
Nothing
We
just
are
happened.
beginning
I,
the
I
safe
tell people
space.
coincidence is God's way of being anonymous, but go ahead.
We are the safe space collectively as we are here tonight and in our individual occupations. For me, as a psychotherapist, as a psychologist, I create the space in my office. You all can only imagine some of the stories that I hear and the reaction that I get from a client when I don't react.
Mm,
People,
yeah.
I have clients that are waking up. That's why that diagnostic statistical manual that is in place, I know that it has there's a lot of misinformation.
Okay.
It's antiquated.
Yes.
And I'm
And
with you.
and it negates indigenous knowledge, indigenous culture. Because look who it's written by. Not a lot of people look like us. Not a lot of people that are from indigenous cultures. But so, from a psychological point of view, our job is to create a safe space where people can talk about this. Our job is to also, in our individual professions, to follow the lead when the lead is put before us, to give people, to validate people, to give them an opportunity to talk. Because we have the ability, by speaking the truth, by listening to the truth, to helping individuals reprogram their minds to
Mm.
move themselves back to the truth that we all know.
The truth seekers. I mean, I want to say first, thank you for being here, Linda. And yes, not just a coincidence, but this thing is huge. I lose a lot of sleep, not in a negative sense, but how to make sure my words, because every now and then I'll get somebody post, and recently somebody posted, oh, you did it. You finally found a way to separate people again, coming up with Project Black. And I'm like, listen, you could be indigenous and you don't have to be black. I'm just saying we're just going to focus on an area that happens to be disproportionately represented, and the stories and indigenous don't mean everybody's black. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you talking about? And but that was the whole point, because I really believe we need to start this vortex, right?
Mhm.
And my pass through is, once I get them into this vortex, then you bring them over into more forbidden knowledge, right? Because they can go to the next level. Not the people that's already in his vortex that are getting smarter and smarter. I'm talking about that other separation group, right? You get what I'm saying? It's a herd of them out there.
Yes,
And I
sir.
run into it, and I'm not, and I think once we bring enough people together, like everybody here, we do physical live workshop, because there's going to be some people crying,
Yes.
because on the ground level, I get the emails from people crying, grown men that are married and can tell their wives everything, even probably admit to some adultery if they did, but not a UFO stuff, right? Because it's just too much, because you just can't believe these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's like, okay, if that's the case, Roderick, I used to be on Clubhouse, and I've interviewed or had more than 300 or 400 people coming up on stage when I was there, and grew the club from 5 people to 30,000. It's where I met Nicole, and we've been around each other for years. And but it's real. People are really disturbed when they think about this particular phenomena. And although there's some of us out there with loose lips, sink ships, or we can just walk past them and say, oh man, that's just fine. Open your conscience up. We're talking about some mental stuff here.
Yes, we are. And Roderick, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Daryl, I've got a question. The rapture. Because I meet so many people in my office who have been waiting for decades for the great escape.
Okay.
Call those the Great Pumpkin Nights. They're just like Linus. They sitting out there waiting on the Great Pumpkin. Just
holy pumpkin king.
Oh my God. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, funny. Oh, funny.
The rapture concept and the way it's been presented to people, I have had so many people in my office who feel defeated, who feel hopeless, who feel like they've been abandoned. They've been cut off from God. They've been cut off from any spirit, the Holy Spirit.
It's interesting that you asked that. I was just watching some videos just yesterday, and it was Neil Dyson. And it was a lecture he was giving back in 2011. And he was showing some other people that was walking around the church with signs that the rapture was going to be May 26, 2011. Hal Lindsey.
Damn it, we missed
it. 20 years ago. Everybody's been wrong. And, we could exegete that. And if we had a conversation to look at what the text is actually saying, and then how it's maybe even been misinterpreted, mistranslated, and even its very source and origin. That'd be a heck of a discussion. But to tell a person who's a Christian that they really have been hoodwinked, it's devastating to a lot of people. And I still have good friends, and I'll probably lose a few here tonight when I says, don't hold your breath. It's not going down the way you think it's going down. And you ain't going up the way you think you're going up.
I would love to touch upon one thing if I can. All right, so check this out. It's like we're talking about technology, how the reveal is going to happen. How will people take it? All right, so this is a little bit of hip hop history. I'm not familiar if everybody is familiar with this particular thing, but do y'all remember 3D Tupac?
Yes.
They ended up doing 3D Tupac. At some point, I think they ended up doing 3D Biggie Smalls, and they've done a couple of other quote unquote effigies. Well, all right. So I know the guy that actually designed Tupac and actually spearheaded that entire project of using lights and sound and camera to simulate a 3D effigy of him on stage. That was almost a decade ago. Now that they have AI and they have more advanced technology, I seriously believe that they will use some type of system such as that to sort of, confound our minds again. The question is, what shape will it take? Will they manifest Jesus in the sky? Will they manifest some type of mothership? What I do believe is whenever they do trigger that feat of magic, that is going to confuse the real from the fake. And it's going to be a lot of people that are going to follow or be confounded by the fake, which will, again, disconnect them from the real. Us that are actively seeking the truth.
Well, they got Project Blue Beam. We all talked about that. That's in the works. So you own it, Zoe. That they're going to, because see, my main thing is, make no mistake about it, I've said it a while ago, that we're talking thousands of years of control. They got the system down.
Right.
The game is not just getting ready to just go away because we got disclosure. The rules are going to change, and they're going to change the rules, but they're going to keep religion on some throats. They have to, because that's the whole flow of everything. And if the Vatican is not smart enough, but conniving enough to say, bring in all of the religious leaders, they did that about last year, because they want to make sure that we get the story right for the new books. They want to get it all right, but it's only because they know the people too. They know the species, ladies and gentlemen, right? They know the species. They know how we're going to respond to certain things, and so what it's no different than the credit bureau. They know not to give me the car, or he got bad credit, right? I'm just saying, but they do it based on history, and that's just the analogy I was using. But the whole point is judging by that history, and we know that history. And although we're proponents of saying, okay, change is happening, y'all, we got to wake up, of course we got the books, we got all this stuff out here, but they ain't gonna go down like that. They're not gonna go down that easy.
No,
they're not gonna go down that easy without a fight. Oh yeah, we just gonna turn this whole religious thing over to the conscious people. They can have it now. We done suppressed it for years. No, there's a whole new generation that are being trained right now on the tactics, the techniques, and they go, we got AI. Like you said, let's design this figment of their imagination and put it in the sky, or like Chat GPT, and say, you know what? We got millions of people doing this, and they're asking questions. They're asking a freaking AI, who is God?
You mean you think they got somebody out there working on Build a Savior right now?
You get what I'm saying?
You know it. You know it.
They're on the back.
Well, Roderick.
Yeah.
Well, Roderick. There have been. So let's think about it, right? There have already since the 1920s. There have already been a myriad of UFO Christian religious cults,
right,
that have come out, and if you really if you trace it, and if you do your research and study them, you'll recognize that a lot of them are tied to the deep state, meaning that they've already been putting this out for the longest. They're preparing. So what's happening is that they're preparing for a disclosure, but it's their disclosure.
Yep.
There you go. That's all I'm trying to do. That's what I've been saying. We're thinking that they're going to do, for example, there's 10 rooms with 10 secrets. Yeah, we can knock on the door and say we know what's behind door number 1 or 2, and we demand answers. We the people. They ain't going to volunteer 2 through 8.
Heck no.
Saying that.
Heck no. And the truth, the disclosures, the true disclosures are the ones that have been carried on by, these ecocentric cultures that I was speaking about, earlier. A lot of the stuff we overlook, or that we're detached from, because we get so caught up in what they're presenting to us through their control mediums.
Yeah.
And that's the psyop. That's the greatest psyop. They've already had, even the Catholic Church has had UFO cults deep within the Catholic religion, cults within that religion controlled by the Vatican that have been putting out information about UFOs, so that it's easy for people to make that transition when there's a quote unquote disclosure. They've been plotting and planning this for a long time. It's not something that's just going to happen tomorrow. They've been doing this, and it's been in play for a long time.
No, it's happening
we are painfully unprepared.
I happen to know people who have experienced abductions and pregnancies and things. And if you even took to the scriptures, not Bible, but we're just talking about texts that are written and things that are written in stone on pyramids. So I'm even beyond the stigma attached to the Bible for a lot of people who kind of know what's there and what's not. But text was written in stone, and even those texts that 3,000 years ago that became inserts into the Bible, and those that aren't there, the thousands that exist outside of the Bible of other cultures. But just hypothetically, when they looked upon the daughters of men and took who they wanted, okay, let's go back 30, 60, 90 generations. Those children are here. We're here.
Yeah.
A lot of these aliens are us. We're already here. They say they walk among us. So when people talk about, you know, Roderick, you did you were looking for star seeds and you were looking for indigos. They're here.
I got ate up on that one. I had some people that was close to me say, I don't want to have nothing to do with you no more. Going out to talking to no star seeds and all that.
A lot of people don't know that the Dalai Lama begins every year by talking to those kids that have those gifts. The Dalai Lama does. A kid that can see in the dark, he wants to see him. Kids that have past life regression remember stuff from 80 years ago and they're only 6 years old. Those phenomena are real if people would look at it, but without that cognitive dissonance. So I guess my point really is we can have the fascination with disclosure or these aliens, but it's not like they just showed up from somewhere and we should be, you know, they're probably more amazed at us than we are at them.
I would say that we probably on the observation of some kind, and they sit there, you know, in the waters and say, okay, we can do that. And I think that, you know, when you look at it and how close we could be to the alien scenario, or not only just being the aliens and everything else, I think it's a hell of a conversations that can begin. And with that being said, I'm not going to hold y'all up too much longer. And let me go around the room here first, and I'll start with you, Jeff. I know you got your own YouTube channel and and all of that stuff. Where can some of these people subscribe to the channel?
Okay, I want to say that because I'm pretty pleased with Sugar on Top. I just want to say that this is the dopest room. And I don't know if you guys can pick it up, but I like me a lot. And I'm usually the smartest person in the room.
Okay.
And it is so dope to look around and know that that's not the case now.
You damn right, wise ass.
Gotcha, Jeff.
This is a true meeting of super friends, man. This is dope. This is and I tell you who you are, and then I'll tell if I can real quick. Do you watch? Everybody here is probably as a kid been into some type of sci-fi, Star Trek. In every movie of every Star Wars or every Star Trek, there is the scene where the feces hit the rotary oscillator. And the crew, the main characters, have to go before this council of elders. Somebody that screwed up something. Somebody here is a screw up that we have to count on to go do blank.
They did that in the movie Priest. Remember Priest?
Everyone, bro. You're not gonna watch a movie without that scene. Everyone. We are the elders. We are the old people in the future. It's us. We're the last ones with the streetlight wisdom. We're it. We're
Get off my lawn.
Whatever this boils down to, we're it. Now, that said, Wednesdays I do something called giraffe balls. It's where I get high as giraffe balls and I pick topics that young people want to talk to, and I come from a place of apology first for my generation screwing it up. And I talk to them about whatever they want. And then on Sundays, I have a show that's called The First Church of Holy Shit. And the whole concept is that somebody effed up and told me God was everywhere. So I pray from here. Saves me 10%. I never miss a game. And in that same vein, I encourage you to save 10% on your soul insurance by switching to Don't Go and come here and we talk about God for real. We talk about the other side for real. We talk about ancestors for real, and not just on some mystic on the back of an Earth, Wind, and Fire album you rolling joints on. Not on none of that. On some real how do you apply this energy to you now so you can stand in your proper place? So yeah, I'm just anytime, man. Anytime y'all want to do whatever. I'm also a veteran stand-up comedian. Presently write.
Oh, you
for
funny.
DO.
Okay.
I presently
Oh,
write
you
for
are
DO.
like we could not tell.
Old enough. Those of you old enough remember a show called Star Search?
Yeah.
Well, I was comedian of the year in 1994.
Okay, pause right there. Y'all
That's
pause right
then.
there.
I'm here now. This is what I was prepared. I was prepared to put this dumb shit to a real purpose.
Okay, say that year again. Say that year again. I'm just practicing. Say the year again.
1994.
Damn. All right, can y'all come on, y'all with me?
Oh, man, I look good for 58.
Damn.
Y'all
I'm a pretty 58.
Y'all should have caught that for the first one. You know, that was a whole prep. Okay. All right. So we'll go.
Well, goddamn, man.
There you go. There
Bunch
you
of
go.
good-looking black folks. You don't apologize.
Okay. All right. So we'll go with that. All right. So Zero, I know you got a channel down at the bottom down there. So what do we got, brother? Where can they find you?
Yeah, Dr. Chalk is I can't be blocked. I went through a bunch of adverse forces to make it here, and I'm glad I did. You guys have me smiling from ear to ear. You can reach me at both my channels below my picture at geocompass.center and at gecko ranger.com. And also you can visit my website at www.geocompass.center, Geocompass Center. I also have a new book series and coursework titled Take Me to Your Leader, Insights into Planet Earth's Indigenous Celestial Knowledge Teachers and Ecocentric Wisdom Keepers. So please connect with me and keep your eyes open for that. And that series, we really get into an in-depth exploration of ancient wisdom and contemporary environmental issues. So thank you for having me, and much love to the whole panel.
Okay, and then also we're still going to go around in just a second, but if you are here, you're watching us, make sure you hit the like button, smash the like button, and post your comments and everything else. We're going to be doing this. I'm gonna have a live stream Friday, I think Friday night or either Thursday night on Why the Big Secret channel. So if you have not, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit those alert button. We're gonna get ready to go deep into a lot of Project Black conversations. And if you're on here tonight, all right, and you have some topics or you want to be part of our panel, the website whythebigsecret.com is up. There is a contact form. It will evolve over the next week. And you can find your Project Black shirts and everything else, and truth seekers and stuff like that. So I want you to go there, subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, submit some topics, some conversations, and maybe because we're going to do a lot of panels over these next few months on a lot of stuff that's coming out, and we'll diversify this thing and really pop it so that, you know, you're going to enjoy what we're doing, but we're going to really dig into these conversations and everything else. So Zoe, what we got? Tell us about your channel and what's going on with you.
Okay. But before I begin with that, a little side note. It was an honor and a privilege being a part of this panel. Each one of y'all are fantastic, and I'm sending you guys digital huggies right now. But to give you a little bit of brief history about myself, I am the spearheader of delugeradio.tech and delugeradio.com. Deluge Radio Technology is an anthology series. It is your portal to a world of sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and psychological thrillers. It was developed by occult masters of imagination, invocation, and iconography. So basically, if you want to express yourself through storytelling, graphic design form, or digital media form, I can definitely help you achieve that goal. So check out the websites. I'll put them in the chat. That's delugeradio.tech and delugeradio.com.
All right, then. Well, we got a lot coming up, so we're going to be doing a lot of things, and I have this true belief that, you know, Chat GPT is going to hurt a lot of people. They already said 600 million jobs, but I do think content creators and stuff like that is going to be great. So we're all going to be getting together, teaching people a lot of these different things, where you want to do YouTube or if you want to podcast or just kind of put the word out of some things. So we're going to be getting to that. But again, if you're interested in stuff like that, hit him up, and also go to Why the Big Secret website, fill out the contact form. Then that website is going to involve. So, Linda, what's going on with you, and how can they find you?
They can find me at Linda Easley Bradley, number 2, with
Okay.
a 2, at gmail.com.
All right. And what kind of stuff do you offer for people?
I offer individual coaching sessions for people who are not familiar with psychotherapy but want to test the waters, right? Because psychotherapy itself is daunting because the media makes it out to be not what it is. So I offer coaching, I offer conversations, and I am planning on starting a YouTube channel.
When she does, we're going to support her YouTube channel. And like I said, we're going to be doing panels all week, especially on Why the Big Secret. Some of these same people are going to be there, and we're going to expand it as well. Daryl, what's going on with you? And I know you're part of Project Black, and so they're going to find you more on my channel as well. And what stuff's going on with you, my brother?
Well, you know, I am working on relaunching my show. I had a radio show for a few years called The Daryl Show.
Okay.
And, I was actually supposed to launch last week, but I just didn't. The timing wasn't right. I've been doing the double Dutch, just feeling the energy of when appropriate.
Okay.
But that will be coming, and I'm still working. So if anybody's interested in looking me up, just Daryl Nichols, DARRELL NICHOLS. I've got Facebook, I've got Instagram, and I got a TikTok. Yeah, actually, the first 3 weeks on TikTok, I did a video and it got 1.1 million views.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
Yeah. And you're talking about things, and I'm deep into dealing with the Native American and indigenous people. I spend a lot of time with my Serpent Mound family, some Native American chiefs, Susan Stanton, grandmother Stanton, one of the 13 grandmothers, good friend. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to be there day after tomorrow. We got a gathering of wisdom elders that come from around the world, New Zealand. We all come to Turtle Island, and it's an amazing event. And we got Kemetic brothers there who were trained by Dogon Priest, a good friend of mine. But, you know, I'm in that vein because it's a humanitarian. I'm also a certified violence prevention practitioner. I see Linda, you homegirl, you right here in Ohio with me. I'm in Toledo.
I'm right down in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. I'm I'm 2.5 hours. Well, the way I drive, 2.5 hours from Cleveland.
Okay, well, you're not far from Serpent Mound, Ohio, from Peoples, Ohio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm there every 3 months. We'll have to hook up.
We got to get together.
Amazing things there.
That Serpent Mound is a powerful place, boy.
All right, then. So
last note, if anybody really did care to know, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but if you wanted to know a little bit more about me, just recently, there's a press release. I was inducted into the Who's Who registry. America is one of the top, they pinned me as one of the top executives in the United States for 2022 and 23. So,
yeah, Daryl, go get him.
And what I hope to do is, I like the way Grandmother Stanton said it, because like when one of us wins or gets recognition, we all win. So I hope to use that maybe as a tool to kind of get me in front of more audiences so I can share this information and share this knowledge. So not big kudos for me, but I don't have a book or anything like that, but hopefully that might open a few other doors where we can have more dialogue and bring more people to the circle.
All right, then. Well, last but not least is the greatness of Nicole. She is a truth seeker. Y'all see right here, this is the shirts. Comes in pink, comes in black. This is for our street team. This is for anybody who's out there that want to interview people when we have these, because we're going to be doing these panels, but we're going to also bring in conversations from the street. So our street team will be out each week. You'll interview somebody out there on the street. and then we'll play the videos from the street from there. But you can get your shirt, comes in black. It's got a little QR code on the back, so when they scan it, it's going to bring them to the YouTube channel with our little branding. I'm also going to create this shirt without the alien head. I got a good email a while ago. Someone liked the shirt, but they want the alien off. It's real simple. Just put the Truth Seekers up there. The website is whythebigsecret.com. You can go right now through your mobile phones and everyone else, and you can order your shirt. It's free shipping. You're going to support the cause of what we're doing. And like I said, I'm saving Nicole for last because she is part of the crew, the Truth Seekers and everything else. In fact, I'm going to play our song for her. And but before I do that, I want to give Lucid Moment Reality a shout out, because this person has been here with us all this time for 2 hours, watched the show, and then wrote a message and said, this whole cast is hypocritical. I've watched Billy's information just from this panel is contributing. This panel is shabby, rehash of information, and you guys are clowning around. And here's the point. That dummy had no clue that what we're talking about was something that just happened 3 days ago. It didn't have nothing to do about rehash of information. And then we just put our opinions on it. But this is when I always tell people, to my haters, if you can hate me without knowing me, I can love you without never meeting you. I just don't want to meet you. You get what I'm saying? And the point is, I love you. You got a problem. You have a problem, Lucid. You do really have a problem. You don't ever have to come back. You don't have to spend your time. If you stayed here longer than 6 minutes with this shabby crew, then that was on you. You know what I'm saying? If you
with your monkey ass,
whatever it is.
Okay. I'm sorry, I had to co-sign that.
All right, yeah,
Shabby.
I can beat that out.
Shabby. It's taking me 47 years to get this look.
Already hit him up. That's right. Already hit him up in the chat.
So but anyway, we're gonna be doing this, and so I'm gonna play our little quick 30-second song. This is for Nicole, and then we'll introduce Nicole as being here with us. And so y'all put your hands up for the Truth Seekers Part 2 song.
To everyone tuning in, let me ask you, why the big secret concealing it from the mass view? UFOs circled in the sky, still get no reply. I think it's time for Truth Seekers to rise. Hands up if you're feeling how I'm feeling. Spread the truth and start revealing. Knocking down the doors of the big secret keepers. Truth Seekers coming through your speakers. What?
Yes, we're gonna roll it. So that's for the greatness of Nicole, who's been around with us from day one. She doesn't have a channel because she doesn't need it. She's part of the family here. She's behind the scenes, one of our best researchers, but with Lonnie and everything else, our producer. And so Nicole, y'all give her a shout out, because some of the content that you hear that I speak up on comes from her end. And even this particular show was originated from her saying, hey, you need to focus on this clip, this dude here, because we all talk about him. And the show originates from there. So Nicole, shout out to you being part of this panel. And do you want to say something to anybody? Can they find you at the grocery store? Maybe not on YouTube,
right.
But you know what I'm saying? Can they, whatever, your email, you know what I'm saying?
They know me in the Truth Seekers community. They can find me there. I'm on Instagram, but I'm under Quan and Nico's mommy, which are my boys. But yeah, I just want to say that, I'm proud to be a part of the Truth Seekers community. I've been researching these topics for almost 20 years now. And I'm the most excited I've ever been about it right now, because this has been just so many things coming forward. Even though, we know our government lies, and we know there's a lot of things that aren't being pushed forward and disinformation, this is the most I've ever seen this topic being talked about in the mainstream. People are actually taking it more seriously.
Yes.
And it's really exciting to see that happen, to see, hearings being had, new organizations being open to investigate this, and scientists from all over the world taking an interest in actually starting their own organizations to research these things. So I think we're in the right path. And, you know, I don't know if we'll ever get full disclosure. I think that's something that people are going to have to do on their own time, you know, on their own journey. But I think that we're going in the right direction. Like you said earlier, like something is happening and we can all feel it. And I'm looking forward to, you know, where this thing goes.
All right, then. That's the greatness of Nicole, and a shout out to Tisha. We have other researchers. And then, of course, in the chat today, who has been down for 2 weeks. And it's hard to bring this girl down. So the second phase of our 30-second clip is a shout out to our producer of the show, Lonnie, in the Soul Vibe. She's in the chat in there tonight. And it's hard to keep her from talking. She hadn't talked in a week and a half. A couple of things. She texts us because she's going through this thing, and man, it was strong, but it didn't take her out though. But to her, this is our second last part. I'm just letting everybody hear the new clips, and then we're gonna all say goodbye to everybody. So here's the second part. It's just same beat, different words. So y'all want to listen up? There you go.
Come on. Hey, are we alone? So many questions unanswered. Secrets amassed like a poisonous cancer. Find the files for the evidence tampered. UFOs flying by become the standard. The war for information is far from over. Truth seekers bringing disclosure. What's done in the dark shall be revealed in time. Why the big secret about to blow your mind?
And you know, when I told him to create that song, I said, take me back to the 80s, Public Enemy days and all of that.
Yeah.
Definitely
It's
has
got the
that vibe.
vibe. It's got the vibe.
Who's your producer?
Oh, the producer of my shows?
No, the who produced that track.
Oh,
Oh man, come on.
Oh, you muted yourself.
You muted yourself, Doc. We can't hear you.
Uh-oh. See, they coming for us now.
He ain't really talking, y'all.
He ain't talking. Oh, that's terrible.
That's
He
who they
ain't really listening.
That's hilarious. That was good. Sir. You had me, man. You had me.
That's who made the song.
You had me.
That
was good. That was good. That's not bad, sir. That was well played. Well played.
Hey, before you go, Roger,
bless up to La Soul. Bless and respect to her.
Yeah, La Soul. She's in a back there. Yeah, there you go.
I just want to make an observation before you close out, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
I just noticed when we and just kind of like a panoramic view of this conversation.
Okay.
I know when Linda started it, she started talking about Hollywood, and we got talking about programming, and Uncle Jeff did. He was talking about Star Trek and sci-fi, but he was looking at those Hollywood and the programming. I remember when she was talking about that. When sometimes when there was a message and it says, "We now return you to your regular program."
There you go.
There you go. And then she came back full circle at the end, and we were talking about some other programs about the conditioning that people go through. And I'm listening to everybody's conversation here, and I'm reminded that like artificial intelligence. And like if we were all had, and if you think about the intelligence of space and consciousness and what all that might be, maybe the Matrix type of thing. But if we were like operating in this simulacrum, whatever it might be, we've got to petition the hard drive tonight. Just like you when your computer gets bugged up and junky, like what's happening in society now is getting bugged up and janky, and viruses and Trojans all over the place. You either partition a hard drive, or you defrag a hard drive, or you run a scan disk. My Christian friends, I'm saying you got to run a scan disk. If that don't work, you got to reformat the hard drive sometime.
Okay.
But we got to get to the point, this is where we're heading, where we're going to be installing a new operating system. That's where we're at.
Well, I tell you what, that's how we're going to do it. All of y'all hang around when I end the show. We'll be in the back office and everything else. We are going to do another one. And like I said, some of these people are going to be regulars when we do some stuff each week on Why the Big Secret channel as well. And then we're going to do more panels, and we'll come back. I really want to do a show on flat earth debate. So if any of y'all...
No. I refuse the flat earth, my friend.
Man, I want to do a debate. If you're out there and you're for flat earth, you need to contact me. And if you want to tell them something different, I'm just going to be in the middle of this one though. But I want to do a flat Earth debate. So
I shot a rifle at 500 yards, so I might.
Y'all can get in touch with the co-producer, LaSoul. Y'all can, find LaSoul, Lonnie on social media. She probably put her email. But if you are into the flat Earth, one way or the other,
I hope not.
Well, it's okay. This is a safe place. Nobody's crazy here. If you got your point to prove that the birds are spies, then I'm down with the program. I mean, I was looking at the bird the other day. I'm like, are you really? And you're like, ooh, the pigeon, right? I'm like, he's talking to me, though. Maybe he's trying to confess. If you're down with the birds being spies, if you're down with the Earth being flat, if you're down with all of those things, we're gonna have a debate, and it'll be a great one. Get everybody back and some more add-ons to it. Hit me up. Go to whythebigsecret.com. Go to the contact us. Put your stuff in if you want to be on the show and you're not afraid to state your flat Earth point and round Earth at the same time. Because the whole point is we're here for a discovery, right? And that's where we're gonna go. So let me get a final words here and let everybody know. Okay, so I want to thank each and every one of you for watching the show tonight and being here with us as the panel. I hope that we didn't disturb you, but we enlightened you. I hope that we inspired you, but also gave you the curiosity that you will then go further than what your stories are and what you think you know, to only find out something you thought was true could possibly now be not true. And that you're okay with the exploration of finding something that you thought was not true. And now you can lean to me and saying that, hey, maybe this is true. Because that's the whole point of being able to, as I've always said, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. It's time to think why. And here with Why the Big Secret, we no longer want you to focus on what is happening in the world today. No. We don't want you to focus on how they're doing it. I need you to focus on why they're doing it. And if you can go to the why, it's going to help you explore. And you may not even find the answers to the why. You're just going to keep going deeper, because nothing is more important than the why. You better believe it. And now it's time to question everything and find out why they're doing it as well. It's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege. I'm Roderick Martin, Why the Big Secret. Thank Forbidden Knowledge here at Billy Carson's channel and the family of being here part of the podcast. Don't forget to get your tickets to the Conscious Awards. Don't forget to vote for me at voteforroderick.com. If you feel that I can earn your vote, I need a few hundreds to win. I'm up against some stiff competition. But I do want to walk across that stage for you, for us, for the community, as we do everything. And so again, to my haters, as I always said, if you can hate me and you don't even know me, then I can love you without ever meeting you. And that's how it's going to be. But I don't want to meet you. And we'll just kind of go that way. But just know that you're loved by one person. That starfish. Jeff says it don't matter. That one person. I love you. I'm that one person that loves you. And it counts. Because I got big hugs, baby. But like I said, if you get in Jeff's realm, you out. You're going to get left behind.
Look here.
You're not going to make the plane.
My ancestors closed the door. Nope, sorry, you can't swim. No, sorry. That's it. We told you about this rain thing.
Simplify.
You can imagine watching a TV show in the future, and it's Marvin Parber's show, and he opens the file to the alien and looks over and says, "Reptilian, you are not the father." And he gets back on his ship and leaves.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, we're gonna still be dealing with the baby mama get down in the future.
I just want to know how we're gonna pay child support for these babies. So either way,
okay, yeah, that baby got tentacles. That ain't my baby.
Y'all hang around. Make sure y'all follow everybody. Hang around. And
nobody in my family got scales. Get on away from me with that web-footed thing. That belonged to James Earl. Them live down in St. Louis.
I'm telling you, they'll come through your wall tonight and talk to you.
No, nobody in my family eyeballs blink this way. So go on with that. It's not my baby.
All right.
It's not my baby, Keisha. It's not.
Good night, y'all. Y'all hang on. Y'all hang
Good night. That ain't...
Why did Ruby shoot Oswald? Was there a conspiracy?
In a world shrouded in darkness and obscured by deception from the big secret keepers, a burning question ignites in the hearts and minds of truth seekers. Why? Let's dive into the abyss of the unknown. Challenge the limits of our understanding.
This bizarre sequence of double killings raised great questions. Who actually fired the shots that killed Kennedy?
Pierce the veil of secrecy.
Cattle found dead and the manner of their deaths are a real mystery.
Anyone who is concerned about lead in the drinking water in Flint.
And venture into the realm of conspiracies and extraterrestrial evidence.
A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way.
Let us consider the question, why?